it's rolling. It should be rolling. So this is what I think about it. I think that the National Guard ought to be clearly used only in the state for state purposes, especially if I got to pay for the bond, the loan they took out to pay for it when they didn't want to tax the rich, and it's a normal expense. So you tax your population according to progressive taxes, ability to pay, because you have to. And if we got to have it should be just called flat out our civil defense and disaster response force, and be equipped for that. And I want to see like the students and the teachers calmed some. When I know that it's taken, there have been instances when Jonesboro is up to 5 kids attacked a school and picked people off from the high ground. And I think officers from the National Guard dressed up well, like gendarmes did, with yellow scarf to impress the students and the teachers, and walk around with the security resource officers that they're supposed to respect, and who better act like they respect them and respect each other, and walk around and impress these students and come up with an individualized plan on how to monitor the borders. You always have to have 2 circles, one looking in and one looking out, in a situation like that, where you're defending a soft target. And you have to have arms really in the hands of both sets of personnel and your defensive perimeter. And I'd like to hear what these officers say about how these places should really be defended and what manpower they need. Now, the National Guard only wants to work on the weekends, but you know, there are big games that need to be secured on the weekends, so make them work that. And it would be a lot of good, too, to make the National Guard, our civil defense, and emergency response force. It would help them get to know the population and all its age groups at games, at schools. And I think it would be a good thing only if the uniforms changed in the service of a gendarme sort of mission, so that they're distinct and civil advance the civilization, and instead of these uniforms that are brutalist and intimidate people. So that's where I'm at as far as where the money goes and what it ought to be used for when you're talking about security of schools. And that's where everything starts from, is your socialization occurs there in the schools, and then in the Boy Scouts you become more socially socialized as to tolerance, acceptance of other people's individual differences. Philosophy. You want your philosophy of your nation to come together around a positive, loving philosophy, which is what pragmatism was, why Americans were loved. They were loved for pragmatism. And we're long past and giving it up too much around this time for Ayn Rand objectivism, which is a shit philosophy. Negative, dystopian, from dystopia to dystopia.